Hasn't been a bad day today. A little warmer, a little more humid, a few stray showers, but light rain of the rain that we have seen, and much of that has been more on the North Shore. So I think south of the lake for our parade this evening, we won't really have any issues. Maybe an occasional little light sprinkle passing through, but that would be about it. And our model indicating most of the rainfall, and again, little rain we would see, looks to be more on the North Shore. Fairly dry overnight tonight, and the big question is going to be, when do we start to see some storms tomorrow? And the models still differ. This is our high resolution model. It tends to be a little bit more aggressive and does have more scattered showers into the midday and afternoon. This is kind of the frontal boundary starting to move in with the storms along that front. Based on the model trends, it doesn't look like the front will be getting here until later in the evening. The big question is, if we don't see any development ahead of the front, then it may be okay. And actually starting the parades earlier may be the better option instead of later, if we can kind of avoid this line of storms. As we head into that late afternoon and evening, though, the front will be moving through. Based on this model, you can kind of see the wind shift here. So just to the west of the city at about 7 o'clock and maybe about 8 o'clock, already passing the city. Note, we will still have some showers even behind the front, but the risk of anything severe by that point would be gone. So that is still very much an unknown, and I'll explain why that is in just a second. So the southwesterly flow, it kept us under mostly cloudy skies, but started to see maybe a little bit more clearing late this evening. Great in time for the parade. 73 degrees right now with wind still breezy out of the south at 15 miles an hour, and we are in the 70s. And as I said, it looks like through the parade we're going to stay in the 70s. So a much milder evening tonight, and dew points upper 60s and lower 70s, and that is thanks to these strong southerly winds. So again, with the winds probably staying on the higher side even during the overnight, fog is not going to be an issue. So tonight, our temperatures staying in the 70s with, again, that isolated shower chance, but more so on the North Shore. A chance for storms, but it does not appear as though it's going to be a washout, and doesn't look like this is going to be an all-day rain by any means. Front moves through by Friday, chilly as we head into Friday and Saturday, then very pleasant as we head into Sunday, and warming up, turning a little more humid, probably around 80 degrees for Mardi Gras Day. Here's a look at the model timing for the front. Again, really the only day in question is tomorrow. Both the Euro and the GFS have the frontal passage or right over the metro area at about 10 o'clock. So the trend has been for the front to move a little bit later into the night. Here's what makes the timing so difficult. Here's the upper low that's going to produce a front over Texas. That's going to start moving our way. The problem is there is no front there, so we're not really tracking anything yet. And so the models, kind of like with tropical season, there really isn't anything yet to grab onto to then start timing it out. So we could see a dramatically different timing once the line does start to develop. Now, the upper low is beginning to produce some severe weather up across North Texas, but it really won't be until the boundary gets into either East Texas or even western Louisiana do we really start to see a definitive line of storms that we can then track. Again, it really won't be until it moves into the state, and that may not be until about midday tomorrow morning. So it may not be until kind of the early afternoon model runs that we have a far better idea of the timing of the rainfall. This model, again, more spotty showers out ahead of the front, and notice more of a focus for those storms as you get into the afternoon and evening to our north. The model also keeps most of our storms right along that boundary, which may not be here until about 8 o'clock. So that's why I'm saying it may be a better option to move the parades a little bit earlier than it would be later. And the Storm Prediction Center has also seen the thinking of the models and issued a level 3 threat for severe weather just to our north and east. Still a level 2 for the North Shore, and remaining under only a low end risk of severe storms for the metro area. So all good news in terms of the parades for tomorrow. It's just, again, the timing and if we see much development ahead of it. Either way, it'll be dry and chilly for Friday, Saturday, turning a little bit milder, gorgeous weather for Sunday, Lundi Gras, Mardi Gras, milder, a little more humid though, and may start to see some spotty thunderstorms back by Ash Wednesday.